All right. Thank you for tuning into The Topic Is Yours this week. We sure appreciate it. Got another good show for you. We've got a B-1 pilot from the Air Force here. His name's Andrew. Talks to us about some stories about that. It's super awesome. We really enjoyed it. Got another great segment from our media streaming correspondent, Courtney. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then we've got a brand new theme. I think you'll notice it here in just a second, courtesy of Yellow Rose Amplification. So stay tuned for that. Clint, let's go ahead and roll it, buddy. All right, welcome to The Topic Is Yours. Thank you for joining us again this week. How about that new intro, guys? Pretty nice. I liked it very much. Thank you, Yellow Rose, for letting us borrow your amp. We used that in the studio, and I gotta say, it turned out pretty nice. Big fan. We're gonna be retooling a few things here. We'll be back in a couple of weeks, so stay tuned for that. This is the last show for a little bit, but it's all good. We're gonna come back better than ever. Isn't that right, Clint?
Absolutely.
All right. Big change I'm making is I'm getting rid of Clint. We'll come back with somebody else.
Woo!
Also, we've got a new feature here, so you can reach us in the mailbag a number of ways. We've added an additional way. Give us a call. Leave us a voicemail. How about that? 405-730-8672. That's 405-730-TOPC.
TOPC.
See what we did there? Topic, almost.
Program it.
Topic.
It's topic. Program it into your phone so that as you're driving with your kids or whatever, maybe you don't have kids, maybe just you're lonely and you want to dial somebody.
Just give us a call.
Now you can call us,
yeah,
and you can tell us what's on your mind. And I don't know, maybe we'll play it, maybe not.
I mean, who knows? We haven't decided yet what we're going to do, but we'll probably respond to it. So, topics you want us to talk about, questions you got, just hit us up. We want to hear from you. And if you don't want to do that, well, then just tweet us or go to the website and do you can contact us there. So. All right, and again, thanks for listening and thanks for telling your friends. We've got another great show for you. We got a guy in here named Andrew, and his last name is classified, so I'm not going to tell it to you. Andrew is a B-1 pilot. Isn't that right, Andrew?
That's right.
That's
totally right.
Thank you.
Yeah, man.
Man,
You're doing good so far.
Appreciate your service, by the way.
Hey, thank you for your support.
Well, you're very welcome. Clint does not appreciate your service, but I do.
Well, to each their own. That's okay.
Yeah.
I'm sitting right here, Dave.
Yeah, I know that. Just being honest. So Andrew is you're a B-1 pilot in the Air Force, which is unbelievably cool.
Yeah.
So
it's a lot of fun.
That's awesome. So tell me, what got you into flying? How long have you been flying? What got you into it? Talk to me.
Well, I've always thought it'd be cool to fly. So growing up, my dad was a private pilot. He just flew little planes. From the time I was born, he didn't really fly a whole lot, but he always had cool flying stuff around the house. So that was always kind of interesting to me. I took ground school when I was in high school because I was a big nerd, and I thought if I could just get more information about it, maybe I'd someday get a chance to fly. So I did that. And then when I went to school, I was doing engineering school, and I decided, that wasn't very fun. So how could I find something else to do? And the opportunity came up for me to compete for a pilot slot, and that's what I did.
So Air Force, did you always want to do the Air Force? Did you look at the other options like Navy or what?
Yeah, I mean, I looked at the other options, but yeah, the Air Force is the one I picked out. I don't know what else to say.
No, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool. I just didn't know if you, growing up watching Top Gun, you're like, I got to go to the Navy. Be a naval aviator.
Yeah, no. So in the pilot community, we all, I guess Top Gun is one of those things you love to hate, Right. So it was definitely one of those formative movies of the 80s that everybody watched, and you're like, oh man, that's so cool. But then after you grow up and you mature, you realize, I'll say this about fighter pilots. Fighter pilots make great movies, but bomber pilots make history. So,
whoa,
yeah,
dude,
buddy,
you heard it here, folks. At The Topic Is Yours. Straight up fighter pilot smack. I love it. Very good. So I guess that leads me to my next question. I mean, the B-1. It's a big old bomber.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did you want to make history with that? What's the deal?
Well, sure. I mean, everybody wants to wants to do what you've been trained to do. No, it's a great plane. Love it. It flies really fast, and it's a sexy beast. It's it's got a lot.
Heyo.
Maybe not as sexy as Clint. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
But it's a sweet plane. I really enjoyed my time in it.
So, did you work up to that? I mean, was that your aspiration from the beginning, or when you were just like not wanting to be an engineer, is what it sounds like eventually?
Well, right. Initially, I mean, I'd always had this thing for doing the pilot thing. I don't know why I never put two and two together that I had this Air Force ROTC thing going, and they fly planes.
Right.
So maybe I could check that out. I don't know why that didn't come into my head until later, but yeah. So once I got picked up for this pilot slot, I didn't know what I was doing. I just the Air Force sent me through my private pilot's license. I got that, and then went to pilot training, and track selected to. I knew I was probably going to fly something fast, which means either fighters or bombers, and I ended up getting a bomber and never looked back. I loved the bomber community, loved the B-1 community. So.
That's so cool.
Yeah.
So what's a typical mission or sortie or whatever you call them in a B-1 look like?
Yeah, so we typically call them sorties. A sortie is just a flight. So there's obviously we do a lot of training. If we're not deployed and doing our mission or flying from home station on a combat mission, then we're flying training missions. So training missions, they average out around 4 hours long. And usually on a training mission, we'll do something where we try to always go meet up with a tanker. So we'll do mid-air refueling. We call it AR, so that's aerial refueling. And that's a lot of fun. Very, very cool thing to actually be in contact with another very large aircraft in the air. So we do that, and then we'll usually go out to an operating area for even private pilots as you're learning about airspace. There's these places all over the nation that we call military operating areas, and they're kind of these airspaces where we can go out. We can train. We can act like we're dropping bombs. We can do defensive maneuvers. We can do all that kind of stuff. We can do air-to-air scuffles with other aircraft. So we'll meet up with F-16s or other aircraft and have air wars basically. So we do that, and then we'll also go low, and that's one of the things the B-1 is really good at, is going low and going fast to drop weapons.
So the advantage of going low is just less likely to be spotted on radar, or what?
Yeah, that's one of the big things is you go low, you go fast, and it really mitigates a lot of threat potential. So the objective, of course, for a B-1 is to go and strike targets, and usually if the B-1 makes it to the target, and if you're employing with a large number of other aircraft, then one of the main keys to success is getting the B-1 through to the target, because we have such a large payload. That means for you, Dave, we carry a lot of bombs.
I know what it means, but thank you.
So if we make it to the target area, then chances are we had a successful mission, and that means we strike our targets and everybody gets to go home happy. But the key is to keep us safe, and so other aircraft are helping us do that. Our mission planning helps us do that, and flying low and fast helps us do that too.
Nice. So what other aircraft do you typically fly with? I mean, you rely on them. I'm assuming you all make up one large force.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things is we do these big, large force exercises, and we'll employ with, man, you name it in the Air Force, and we go out there and we play with those guys. So F-16s, F-15s, F-22s. I never got a chance to fly with F-35s, but now they're certainly doing that. You got AWACS out there giving a good radar look. I mean, every airframe has a very key part to the game we play out there. Now, of course, all that is like training stuff. While I've been in the Air Force, we haven't had a huge air-to-air war or air-to-ground war where we needed a lot of air support, air-to-air support. But then we have combat missions, and those are quite a bit different. So those are much longer. So our missions there are quite a bit longer.
Yeah.
But in fact, usually on those days, I would be awake for about 20 hours or more. So you wake up, you go get some food, you go brief up, and then you go out and hop in the aircraft and fly into country. And it's really cool to go employ with your bros from the squadron that you've trained with, and so there's a lot going on there. But once we get into country, that's when we head off to go support the guys on the ground. And that's mainly what I did on every deployment that I went over there. Not a lot of
over there being Iraq.
Yeah, well, in the Middle East, we'll leave it at that.
Okay.
But in most cases, in the wars we've been in since 9/11, there's not as much where we have targets on the ground that we know we're going to strike. Most of the time, we've got guys on the ground that we're going to protect, and that's the best thing that about deploying and employing the B-1 is we did a lot of close air support. And our style of close air support is obviously a bit higher than like an A-10 or even an F-16, but you're working with guys on the ground, and it's a very sobering experience, I guess, to go over there and do that. You get to know the voices on the ground, and when one of those guys calls you up, you recognize the voice, and it could have even been somebody that you were training with back home. Wow. Because we try to get these guys to train with us, and then when they deploy, then we deploy. And so you might recognize that dude's voice on the ground, and you hear him clicking the mic. You can hear gunfire in the background, and he's calling that, the guys are shooting at him. They need help, and that's what we train for. So
I can't even imagine.
Yeah,
that is crazy. Wow. Okay, Andrew, this is riveting, but we got to take a quick break. We'll come right back. All right, stick around.
Sounds good.
Yellow Rose Amplification has been annoying neighbors since 2014. These high-quality, handmade tube amplifiers are at home on stage, in a studio, or in the bedroom, and they are built to last a lifetime. Yellow Rose amps are proudly built in Oklahoma with a Texas state of mind. Exclusive to The Topic Is Yours listeners, Yellow Rose is offering a 10% discount on their flagship amplifier, the RJC10. Check them out at www.yellowroseamps.com and enter the code TOPIC at checkout. The code again is TOPIC. Yellow Rose Amps. The Rose rocks. Welcome back. Andrew, thanks for being here, buddy.
Yeah, man.
So, Andrew, what's your call sign?
Snow.
Snow.
Yeah.
I like it.
Yeah, man.
Was there a story behind that?
Oh, no.
Oh, not at all.
Yeah, I'm sure there is, but I don't know if you're cleared for that. Sorry.
Good enough. I appreciate that. Hey, I gotta ask. You know what I mean? Gotta ask the question. So, obviously, you've done a lot of training. I know you've been in combat situations. I know you've done lots of things, and there's lots of things you cannot talk about. We understand that. But what's the scariest? If you can, talk to me a little bit about the scariest situation you've ever been in the B-1.
Yeah. Well. So there's multiple times where I've probably been a little stressed while in the aircraft. So emergency situations are probably the times where I've been most nervous. There's one in particular where so we have this thing called a -1. Every aircraft in the military has a -1, and it's the operator's handbook basically. So if you want the keys to the B-1, you just need to go read the -1. That's what you need to do, and then you'd be able to start it up no problem.
I'm sure.
So in any event, there's actually a change. We constantly put changes in as the aircraft gets updated, or as things are found, or just updates to the aircraft basically. Mm-hmm. And so change 9 to the -1 is my change. And
change 9.
Change 9 was Snow's change to the B-1-1.
Oh,
yeah,
very good.
and that had to do with this one particular night. We had flown out. We'd gone to do a training mission, actually getting ready for a deployment. And I had my boss in the back. So there's 4 crew members in a B-1, 2 pilots and 2 WISOs, weapon system officers. That's what those guys are called.
Sweet.
Okay, yeah. And so my boss was in the back. He was a WISO, and we went out and we were flying, And the mission went great. We came back. It was time to put the jet on the ground. We put the gear handle down, and the gear did not come down. Pretty benign emergency. We trained to this all the time. There's an alternate gear extend, so we went through the checklist and everything. We dropped the gear in the alternate way. We got safe indications. So we came back, and we put the jet on the ground, and we started to let it coast out like we always do. And tested the brakes. Everything seemed to work fine. But around probably 100 to 120 knots is when we really got on the brakes. So I had the jet at this point. So I step on the brakes, and the jet immediately pulls hard to the right. And so we're probably about 100 knots at this point, like I said. And that's pretty fast.
So talk to me. Okay, I'm going to cut you off because of a knot.
Yeah.
Is that what's that equivalent to? Is that like a mile an hour or what?
Yeah. Think about it, especially at 100 or less. You can equate it to about miles an hour.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a
just
little bit off
listeners,
from that.
You know,
yeah. Just
and
for the
Clint,
listeners.
he's kind of slow.
Yeah. No big deal.
Good
So
enough.
it's about 100 miles an hour.
Got
okay.
it. Okay.
So at that point, I stepped on the left brake harder, and the jet immediately took a hard turn to the left. What I didn't know was a couple things that happened that the Dash 1 did not tell us about and the checklist did not tell us about. And that was that the part that had failed in my aircraft meant that my anti-skid was not working. And that's what later got changed in the Dash 1 to prep every other pilot that ever had this exact failure so they wouldn't have this happen to them. That got changed. But for me, I was the guinea pig in this situation.
Wow.
So when I stepped on the brakes initially, the two of the tires on the right main gear blew out. And that's what drug the nose excessively to the right. And then when I pressed harder on the left to straighten the nose out and stay on the runway, all four of the tires on the left blew. And so I took a hard turn to the left, and I was still close to 100 knots at this point. The aircraft doesn't brake as well when the tires blow out. And so I'm trying to get the jet under control. So I used nose wheel steering. Well, another part of this specific emergency that was not talked about prior to Change 9 was nose wheel steering won't engage either. So at this point, the only thing I could do was use braking and rudder to try to keep the jet on the runway. Mm-hmm. One of the things we always talk about on the B1 is we have ejection seats, and we always brief our minimums of what we need in order to pull the handles and eject, or not pull the handles and stay in the aircraft. So in this particular case, we had always briefed that if we were over 50 knots and we were going off the side of the runway, we were going to eject. Mm-hmm. And so if you talk to enough pilots or anybody that's been in someone in a car wreck, a lot of times they'll talk about their emergency or their wreck in this way that time kind of stood still. You see it in movies, like when people are filming movies, right? When a wreck happens, what do? Well, the cinematographer slows things down. You're seeing things happen, and well, that's almost what it is in an EP situation. So I'm thinking I'm going off the runway at over 100 knots, and I get pretty stressed out at that point.
Right. But
at the same time, extremely calm. It's a weird sense of calm that you get in these situations where I'm thinking, okay, do I reach down and pull the handles or do I not? Made all those decisions, and I decided by checking my airspeed at that point, I'd finally slowed down to about 70 knots. It still looked like I was going to go off the side of the runway. And I told the crew, hey guys, we're still going towards the side of the runway, but I'm staying with the aircraft. And so just to let them know, I'm not pulling the handles. Now, if they had pulled the handles, they would have been within their rights had we gone off the runway. But as it was, I put full right rudder in, and I jammed on the toe brake as hard as I could. In fact, my right leg hurt for probably a week after that. I just jammed on that brake so hard. Yeah. And I came within about 2 feet of going off the side of the runway by the time I got the nose turned back. And we went back and we watched where the skid marks, and of course at this point we have no rubber on the tires and it's just metal scraping across the runway.
Wow, crazy.
Within about 2 feet of going off before I pulled it back, and we were about 60 knots at that point. Got it stopped. Everything was good, but yeah, I got a change in the Dash 1. It was pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. All right, thank you, Snow.
Yeah.
So why not pull the handles? I mean, they're there for a reason, right?
Yeah, they are. Absolutely. In this situation, I actually took it back to the squadron, and I told everybody, listen, I think we're briefing this up wrong. At 60 knots, I was committed to stay with the aircraft. And I think that's pretty natural for pilots. We don't want to give up on the jet, and that's something we have to fight against. But there are situations where it makes sense, and you have to give the jet back to the taxpayer, as we say, and save yourself when you have ejection seats. And but I felt like while I was riding that one out, that 50 knots wasn't right. And in fact, I started briefing a different airspeed.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yet another change, snow.
That's right. The snow change.
Dude, I didn't realize we were talking a Maverick over here. Spotted a MiG-29.
That's right, Goose.
A few meters. Incredible.
No big deal.
Yeah. Man, I had another question for you. Yeah, I keep hearing about a pilot shortage. A lot of guys... I don't know, is that true? And if so, what's the future of flight look like?
Yeah, those are great questions. Probably really worldwide, aviators are dealing with this. Aviation companies are dealing with this. We're talking about commercial aviation to move people, move stuff. Anybody that wants to fly anything is experiencing kind of this pilot shortage, especially in the United States, though. So... the things that are going on right now is over the next 10 years, the airlines could hire every single one of the pilots in the military, and they would still need more pilots based on the amount of people that are flying these days and the number of commercial pilots that are retiring. Some of that has to do with the way we grow pilots or the way we train pilots here in the United States, the amount of money it takes for you to get through flight school, and then the amount of time that you have a relatively small income right out of flight school for years as you're building up hours.
And the reason I looked into it a little bit, like I always wanted to be a pilot, and in my early 20s, it was like, well, when I was a kid, we just couldn't have afforded it. There wasn't an option for me, and then I looked back and I'm like, okay, I can afford it now perhaps, but what's my return on that? And it's very, very little for a long time.
Yep.
And it's like, well, no wonder there's fewer pilots than there used to be. I mean, it's just hard, what I'm talking about. So anyway, I don't mean to cut you off, but I looked into it a little bit, and it just seemed not the smartest thing to do.
Yeah, it's not uncommon for guys that go through flight school to have a six-figure debt coming out of school, and then your income is $40,000 or less.
Yeah.
And so and you're having to live in places like on the coast where cost of living is extremely expensive. So guys are just, they're try to live in LA for $40,000, not to mention servicing $100,000 debt, and you'll see why we have a shortage.
That makes total sense. So what's the future look like? I mean, are we going to just unmanned drones now, or what's the deal?
Well, I tell you, that's probably you could do a whole podcast on that. But UASs, unmanned aerial systems, are a huge part of the future. For my own sake, as I think about moving to civil aviation, I don't think that's in the near future for moving people around.
Right.
But there's certainly a future for it. You already see all different types of UASs being used for inspections of towers and buildings and structures, bridges. You see it for real estate photography. So there's a huge future in that. And then once you start talking about moving people, moving stuff, I think that is in the future. I just don't think it's in the super near future.
Yeah. Yeah, I would imagine that would take a long time to get cleared.
Well, I don't know about you, but I don't want to be on the airline when the robot breaks and nobody's up there to take the yoke.
For sure. Absolutely true. Very good. Snow, Andrew, thank you for being here. Thank you for your service.
Yeah.
Very entertaining. Pleasure. Really do appreciate it. So, folks, stick around. We're going to take a quick break, and then we've got Courtney, our media correspondent, streaming media correspondent, here to do some Emmy talk. Can't wait to see how that goes. She's here waiting for us. All right. See you in a minute.
You have chosen the Topic Is Yours podcast.
What's your favorite kind of melon?
Your source for sophisticated conversation.
The most rudimentary machine is probably going to be better than me, but...
For the discerning listener.
All right, anyway, this is awkward and weird.
And thought-provoking questions.
Kristen Chenoweth, hot or not?
That will enlighten the listener's perspective.
Is it kind of like the going back in time in a way? I mean...
Kind of, but it's like going into the future.
Good day.
Welcome back. Thanks for sticking around. Courtney, we're very lucky. We got you back this week.
What's up?
Not much. How are you?
Good.
You keeping it real over there?
I guess.
All right. I'd like to hear it. So we got you back because of the Emmys, right? So that's
Yes.
what do they do there?
For this week. Well, it's an award show. you know,
Okay.
with awards.
Yep.
It's on TV. It's a show. It's a TV award show. Yeah.
Okay. So when does it air?
I don't know. I didn't watch it. I couldn't watch it. I don't have cable.
Wait a minute. So just so I understand, we're here to talk about the Emmys.
Yes.
And neither you nor I, if I could speak, actually viewed the Emmys.
That's true. But you don't need to view it. You just
Okay.
need to know who won.
Okay, let's hear about it. So
Okay.
who won best?
So it's a big
whatever.
deal, right? Because I told you how much I like streaming because, I don't have cable and I don't want to pay for it. So the biggest winner was a show from Hulu, which is the first time it's happened.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, they were pretty sure Netflix was going to win, but
Yeah.
no. Actually, they were pretty sure HBO was going to win. But anyway, so it's The
Wait a minute,
Handmaid's
so-
Tale.
Game of Thrones, right?
Right, which,
That did not win?
no, The Handmaid's Tale. Have you heard of that?
No, not at all.
Ugh, of course.
The Handmaids. Is this another midwife thing you got going on?
Whoa, it's kind of. Well, it's dystopian. You know what that is?
Come on. This is me you're talking to.
Okay. All right. Well, it's a
But
world.
but for
in the future.
Clint, go ahead and clear it
Oh,
up.
Right, Clint. So it's a future, hopefully not going to happen reality.
Yeah.
Where women are oppressed.
Well, that sounds terrible.
It's terrible. It's a
And
terrible
that
show.
won?
Not a terrible show. I haven't watched it. I don't know either, but
Okay, so
It's on
it's a dystopian tale of oppressed women,
yes,
and that won.
it did win.
Huh.
Yes.
Okay.
So it's actually pretty exciting, and Stranger Things. Did you watch that?
Oh, yeah, that was a
surely
great
you watched
show.
that. Okay,
I saw it.
They
Great
thought
show.
it was nominated for the same category. It didn't win.
Really?
Yeah.
That's surprising.
So like the big news is that all of these streaming channels are having all these shows that are actually doing really well.
Yeah.
As
right.
opposed to HBO, which of course always has done well. They have all these new streaming, resources, and so, it's pretty cool that they're doing a good job with their shows. So.
What about House of Cards?
Yeah, it won too a few years ago. So it was like the first one for Netflix.
That's the one I kind of think that kind of kicked off.
I think
the
so, too.
streaming renaissance.
But
You
it
know
just
what I mean?
keeps going, right? That's exciting.
It does. That's excellent. So, the Handmaid's Midwife
Just
Tale.
Handmaids, yep.
Okay.
Handmaids.
The oppressed woman's tale.
Okay.
All right, so
yep.
that won something. What,
It did. It
what
won
else
a lot.
won?
It won like best lead actress.
Oh, nice.
And best supporting actress. So it did
Yeah.
really good.
Did they have to wear like a veil or something the whole time too?
They
or-
wear like these creepy red outfits and this like nun-looking hat. Mm-hmm. You can't see me when I'm doing it, but maybe you can. So it's like a little, I don't know. It looks like a nun hat. Yeah, it's kind of creepy, and it's like bright red. So they're these weird, creepy people. I haven't watched it yet. Did I mention I haven't watched it yet?
Yeah, but is there like a happy ending? I mean, do they
I don't think
rise
so.
up? Do they revolt against
Pretty
the
sure not
oppressive
happy.
wind?
No, I don't think so.
No.
I don't know. I haven't watched it yet.
Okay. Well, I
You
didn't know
should
if you
watch
knew the any sort of plot twists.
I did read the book,
Okay.
but I haven't read it. I mean, I haven't watched it.
Well, Courtney, you are all over the place.
I
You've
know.
read the book, but you haven't read it. But
I meant I have read it. I have read it. I just haven't watched it. Let's move on.
okay,
Shall we?
cool.
All right,
So
yeah.
what else we got?
Okay, so have you watched This Is Us?
No,
You should
I
watch
have.
it.
I have watched the previews for it though.
Well, that's not the
in
same.
between football. Yeah, great.
What? Ugh, that's ridiculous. It's a really good show.
Is it?
Yeah, I mean, it's not on a streaming. It's on NBC. But
So that
it's good.
that just seemed like a really ambitious show. You know what I
Well-
mean? Like they had several different storylines intertwined.
That's all the good shows, right?
Is
That's
it?
what all good. Yeah, these big casts. I mean,
That's true.
did you watch Lost? Don't say no. That's the best show that's ever
yeah.
been. So
Okay.
I don't want to hear about it. Okay.
No, yeah, I've heard great
it's like
things.
this, just like a huge cast with all these things happening at one time.
Right.
A little drama going on. It's a good show though. It's like a family show.
Cool.
This Is Us. I mean, not Lost.
This is us. Yeah, not
Right.
Lost.
Yeah, and so I really like it. It's about to start again on NBC, but you can watch it on Hulu.
Oh, fantastic.
So that's where I watch it.
For
That's
$8, and then you get stuck with commercials. Got it. Perfect.
11 if you want to not watch commercials. I told you
Okay.
that already. That's
I
the
know.
trick.
I'm not going to let that go. That just seems.
Super.
I don't like that at all. That's wrong.
Well, then just get cable and then pay like $100 and you'll be fine.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough. Okay, what else you got?
All right. Well, I mean, it looks like outstanding comedy was Veep. Have you watched that?
Veep.
Yeah.
No, I haven't. But I've seen like maybe an episode, and it was okay. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I'll
Like I didn't love it, I do like Curb Your Enthusiasm quite a bit, so
Yeah, okay.
I was
you might
excited
like
about that. But anyway, so
I
that
like-
one, good.
I like her. I mean, I like
Yeah,
Elaine.
she's great.
She's good.
She's great,
I'm gonna
yeah.
call her Elaine. I know it's not her name. Pretty much that's who she is, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so Big Little Lies. I'm sure you didn't watch that.
I have not seen that. No.
That would be weird for you to watch. I read the book, but I didn't watch it.
Okay.
It's coming. That seems
Why
familiar.
do you think? Why do you say that would be weird for me to watch Big
Well,
Little Lies?
I don't think you would if you won't watch This Is Us. You're not going to watch Big Little Lies.
Okay.
Are you?
I just didn't know if you were stereotyping me.
A little bit. Maybe your wife watched it. It's a good show.
I'll have to check with her.
Okay,
on
ask
that.
her. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. Again, I didn't watch it, so I don't actually know if it's good.
Yeah.
But the book
Clint,
is good.
have you seen any of these shows?
Guess what?
What?
I have not.
I'm surprised.
Big shock there.
Yeah, so anyway.
Thanks for nothing, Clint.
Dave, I'm answering the question you asked, man.
Okay, I know. That's fine.
Okay, I got one.
Hey,
ooh,
I was watching Last Chance U. That's what I was doing.
You did tell me about that.
That's right.
Sweet.
Yeah, something football, the
Should have
gritty
won.
or something.
Should have won an award somewhere for something.
It
That's pretty good.
didn't.
Please.
Sorry, not on
Give me
here.
a break. If you like it, it's probably lame. Please
That's
continue.
true. Okay, so let's guess. Let's play a guessing game. I love guessing games. That's
Let's play.
Okay, so guess what won for best reality show / competition show. Just guess.
Guess
Yeah.
a Big Brother.
No, that's not going to win anything. I think how many seasons is it? Like
How could
95?
a reality show win anything? These are
Well,
terrible.
it has a category for it.
Well, I don't know. I don't watch.
What's your favorite reality show?
I don't watch reality shows.
Surely you've watched one.
Name.
Have you watched? Did you watch Survivor?
No.
There's like 100 episodes. Seasons of that.
Yeah, that's true. No, I never really
No,
watched
me
that.
neither.
Yeah,
Okay, but my favorite.
but I read the book.
You didn't read the book.
No,
My
I don't
favorite
watch that.
is Project Runway.
Okay.
That's the best one. It didn't win.
Is
but it's my
that
favorite
like
one.
a runway model thing?
Are you joking?
No, I'm not joking.
Who's Tim Gunn? Do you know who Tim Gunn is?
No. I
Who's
don't.
Heidi Klum?
I know her. Yeah. Yeah,
Okay,
she's a
you know her.
supermodel.
Of course.
Yeah.
No, it's about people making clothes. It's about fashion.
Oh, okay.
You don't know. It didn't win anyway. You didn't guess yet.
Well, no, I was going to say the only reality show that I know, and it just happened. We talked about it last week. The Great British Baking
That's
Show.
the best show.
I know.
It's not that show. This is an American show.
Okay.
That's a clearly British show.
Yeah, that's true. It is.
Mm-hmm.
I'm out of. I don't know, Courtney. What do we got?
Okay, it's a singing show.
Clint, you can guess.
It's a singing competition.
The Voice.
The Voice, yeah.
Oh, great. Good
I
for
know,
them.
Surely you watch that.
No, I don't watch that.
Well, why?
Pride.
Okay.
No, I have no
It's
idea.
a good show. Except for, it's a good show.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay, so that's like the highlights. I mean, there's tons of. This is why you don't need to watch the Emmys, because there's tons of all of these awards for like best director, best
Yeah.
writer, blah blah blah. All you really need to know is that Hulu did good.
Hulu did well.
That's right.
Did good.
You don't need to be a cable. You don't need to be cable. Just be Hulu
So
or Netflix.
here's what I got something for you because you pitched me Hulu.
Okay.
I'm going to pitch something for you.
right.
I am a PlayStation View customer. You don't need to have a PlayStation. I pay $30 a month.
Okay.
I get virtually every channel live, and it
Okay.
includes a cloud DVR. How about that?
That's nice. Actually,
it's
that is
very,
nice.
It's very nice, and I can
I-
watch it today. I took off work to do a few things. I just had it streaming in my car as I was driving around.
In your car? Wait, you're driving around watching TV? You're
No,
gonna
I
kill
had-
someone.
No, I had the TV going, and
You're gonna murder someone.
all right,
on the
we're gonna
street.
edit that part
Oh
out.
my goodness.
Probably.
That is terrible.
No.
I mean, maybe if you're like in a traffic jam in Dallas and it's like you're on the road for an hour and sitting
Yeah, I
there.
was stuck.
Oh,
I was
in
stuck.
Edmond.
Well, who says we live in Edmond? I was stuck someplace.
Well, then where were you?
Well, it was a busy
You were
place.
watching TV in your car
I had the
Oh
TV
my
going.
goodness.
I had the TV going so that I could
on
listen.
your phone
I was listening to. Yeah, I was
or
listening to the
on
news.
like your backup camera.
no, on my phone.
People do that.
I'm sure they do.
They kill people. It's like
I
it's
don't
worse
know.
than texting. And do you text and drive?
No, I don't do that.
Oh,
I
you
don't do
watch
that.
TV and drive.
Yes, that's where I
But
draw
you
the
don't
line.
text and
That's
drive.
right.
Oh, okay.
I don't draw.
Here we
Yeah.
go.
Hmm. No, I had it going, and I could hear, and I was, listening to what was going on in the world and things like that. And then when I had to stop and I couldn't drive, I could take a glance.
At a red light
Correct.
for 2 seconds.
No, it wasn't a red light. I was in a line. Doesn't matter.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
That
my
sounds
point
like a
is,
great
my
idea.
point is that it's better than Hulu.
What?
That's my point.
I can watch it in my car, but I'm not doing that because I'm a safe driver.
Okay, well, why don't you drive out of here?
Okay.
You've annoyed me enough tonight, but we're glad you're here. No, I'm just kidding. All right, what else you got, Courtney? Anything else?
No.
Courtney, thank you so much for coming by. I guess that was the end of the show. It was a good show. I was happy with the show. All right, so we'll see you. Let's see. It's going to be 2-3 weeks. We haven't exactly established the date yet. But until then, this is Clint, Dave, and Courtney signing out.
You're driving around watching TV? You're going to kill someone.
No,